We've Galera Cordia August Fáilte wrote, welcome to be my guest with me, Mary Honan, on Lear Media. And my very special guest today is a young man I've been trying to get on the show for, well, since I saw his piece in the newspaper, really. Brian, just to bring you up to date, Brian recently attended the regional hospital in Limerick, or the University Hospital Limerick, as it's now called, feeling suicidal, it's safe to say. And he wasn't treated in the way he should have been, in that he was sent home without any help really, and left to his own devices. And Brian has highlighted the importance of mental health and good mental health, which is what I'm very strong with in this show. Hello, Brian.
Hi, how are you? How are you getting on?
I'm grand. Come here. You know, we are one of the cities in the country that has the highest rate of suicide.
Yeah.
And only this morning I heard about a goalie in America, a young girl who's after 22 years of age, who's after her family have released that she took her own life. It's very, very sad. Mm-hmm. You were, dare I say, lucky in that you had the foresight to actually and ask for help.
Yes.
Bring me up to the before you went to Thomondgate.
I was at home. It was the 7th. The 7th was the Monday, so the 6th was a Sunday. So on the Sunday, I actually woke up feeling like there was a big weight over my head. That's how I felt. It was like a dark cloud. And I spent the day in bed nearly on my phone, trying to scroll through my newsfeed just to keep my mind off of this horrible feeling, right? So the Monday came and I woke up and I still felt it. And it was actually worse, to be honest. So that day I was moving some couches and stuff into the house. So I had the son there and I had the older brother with me. So, and the older brother asked me, was I okay? And then I came to realize to myself, no, after that, I go to myself, I'm actually not all right. Like, no, in my own sense, like I knew there wasn't something right. So later on in the evening, he went home and the son went home. And it was after that, then I kind of just cracked. I just started crying. I was like, what's this? Like, it just wouldn't go way off my head. Like, and I don't know what actually dragged me over to the river, because it was like my body was taken over, in control. It's like someone took control of my body. I didn't think of my kids. I didn't think of no one. I just thought of getting rid of this feeling out of my head. And that's the scary part. Like it was the first time experiencing a kind of a breakdown. Do you get me? And that scares me because now that I feel okay, I'm like, Jesus, like I'm like, oh my God, like I can't believe that actually happened. Like that actually went down to the river and was contemplating. So I was down by the river, and I was like going mad, like whacking the steering wheel, crying, and I was ringing doctors there, and I was like, if this doctor doesn't answer me now, I says, I'm just gonna just not make a show, not gonna stand on the wall, just put the hand and just go in and just go over. That was my thought. That was the thought process in my mind. And even thinking that alone is just not nice. But the doctor answered me out in St. Nestle's Road, out in Doradile, next to the highway. And he pleaded me, he asked me where I was, and he was actually closing. But the receptionist took my call. So
yeah, they're great there.
So the doctor then straight away came on the phone to me. He says, look, come out to me. He says, I'll help you. He says to me. That's all I wanted, was that kind of word. So then I was in the car and I just drove out. Went in, and he was speaking with me, and he said straight away to me, well, not straight away, like after a few minutes, he was saying, look, Brian, it's urgent that I get you an ambulance because you are in a bad state. And I didn't want to go on the ambulance. I'm over the hospital thing like that has gone on, you know?
Yeah.
So I got into the ambulance. He rang me an ambulance. Sorry, what is the thing there? So he rang me an ambulance. Went in the ambulance. I felt good in the ambulance. I felt good in the ambulance.
You felt safe and you thought you were going to
Yeah.
get help.
So then I arrived to the hospital. I got to the hospital, and from the minute I got off them steps of the ambulance, I just had this horrible feeling of me. Went into this big bright hospital.
Yeah.
And I was told to sit on a seat. Now my head is at the minute exploding, right? Like at this stage, like thoughts and like feeling suicidal, and I'm being asked to wait on a seat, right? Like in a hallway, with people passing me by, all these intensive lights and this all over the place, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like this, and I'm like, and all I want to do is just block my eyes or just throw a quilt over my head and just like X out the world, you know, just like. But I had to wait in this hallway, which is not a hallway to be waiting in, like a bad place, you know. So all the waiting around and all the thoughts going through my head, and then I was getting angry then because I had to wait to see a crisis nurse, and then I eventually got to meet the nurse. And
How long did it take you to get to see that nurse?
Oh. See, I have to get the times off the doctor, so I would say around 45 minutes, like around.
Okay. Not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, so, and then I was in with the crisis nurse, and I was sitting down on a bench. So then I was thinking, like, okay, I ask for questions, and asking me, okay, going to reach out to me, seeing all of that. I didn't feel none of that. And when you're in a state of like a state of down, like I was, everything is very sensitive in the mind. So. Everything, like every detail that I seen in this doctor, no, I'm not like wasn't correct for like it wasn't for purpose of mental health. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just you no compassion.
No compassion. No empathy. No emotion.
No interest.
Nothing at all. He asked me, was I on drugs? He told me there was a smell of alcohol off me, and I told him 3 times I hadn't drank since Friday night, which was Saturday morning. And that's what I told him 3 and 4 times, and he goes, okay. He took my heart rate. He told me everything was normal, which shows like I was. And he was looking at me. He was wondering like what was actually wrong with me. And I was just telling him, look, I'm having a bad day, bad 2 days actually. And then to make it like the long story short, as he was talking to me, he walks into me and asks me, was I suicidal at the minute? And then I goes to him, well, at the minute I'm not, but I says like, oh, but I was suicidal. Like
came in here.
Yes, right. So then he says to me, so if I discharge you from this hospital, can you assure me that you won't be suicidal or go back to the river or do something like that? That's what he said to me. And that's it. If I had the camera in my hand, I should have done it. I should have stuck it on my car because I wasn't thinking. At that stage, I wasn't thinking because help I thought was coming to me, you know, the help. And then I said that. I said, look, I'm not feeling suicidal. And the doctor went away from me then, and then I was automatically discharged. So I had to get off my seat, I had to leave the hospital. And then I goes to myself, is that it? I goes, you're actually leaving me go. Like this, in my mind, this is a total waste of time. You're after really annoying me. And you're also letting me go like into like a world where I didn't want to face at the moment, you know? Like I wanted help, I want to sit down and talk with someone.
Instead of comfort, you got suspicion.
Yeah, and I got suspicion and just thrown away, like suspended, like out the door. And as I was leaving the door, which made it worse as well as I was leaving. So I was given a cup of tea and a sandwich, and I've mentioned this loads of times to people. And the cup of tea was actually like soothing the mind a bit, you know, just whatever way, have it away, like. And as on the way out, I had a security guard behind me. It was like an escort. That's what it was like. It was like an escort.
You were being escorted out of the hospital.
Basically, that's how I felt because your mind, as I said, like your mind's exploding and you're watching everything. And I know I have the security guard behind me or next to me or wherever he was, like opening the door or leading me out the door. So I left my tea and my sandwich behind me. So then I kind of stopped and I goes, my tea and sandwich is back in the thing. So I tried to turn around back in. He stopped me. I kind of held my shoulder. He goes, look, he goes, you can't come back into this hospital because you are discharged. And the minute he said that to me, I goes, is this actually real? I goes, is this real? This is, and I swear to God, I goes, is this real? I felt like just touching off the ground and just going into water and just and just like going off into the down the drains. That's how I felt, and I can't believe that like the one place that like the hospital, a hospital in general, like a place for help and a place that does help people. My last resort to save my life is actually telling me I can't go back in to even get my tea and sandwich. And I goes, is this real? So I put my side, I pinched my side, and I goes, is this real? So then I was kind of getting frustrated with him. And it's not his fault, all right? Like he's just doing his job, and the nurses are doing their job.
Brian, that's an excuse. With
Yeah, I know,
all
but
respects, you know, it's not his fault.
I know, but it's compared. Like
people
he should have some
see-
decency, yeah.
But when
Yeah.
people see something is inherently wrong,
Yeah.
they have a duty to say this is wrong, and go back and get you your cup of tea and your sandwich.
Yes.
Long enough. You know, it's very little to give somebody.
Exactly. That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
I don't abdicate him from responsibility at all.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. And that, like daddy, and daddy even bother, but like that, like really annoys me as well, you know. And it's not that as well. Like I can't remember even like getting from. I was outside the hospital and I made a video, and they gave me this sheet of paper with this list of numbers, and I ring all the numbers, and they're all ringing out. One answered, and it wasn't helpful. Like it wasn't even helpful either. So I got this armband on my wrist. I got this bit of paper, and I got a total head wreck inside that. And now I have to make myself way home in a car and pass the bridge where I once was 2 hours ago, and I was like, so I can't remember even getting home. So it's even the fear of what I could have done on the way home.
Did you drive to the hospital, or did you get the ambulance?
I drove to a GP, which is about 5 minutes.
Yeah, Doyle,
right? And I left my car there. The ambulance took me from.
Yeah, so you hadn't far to walk to his.
So I hadn't far to walk, but still I had to walk. You know, I was free.
Still had to walk.
I still walk with this thing in my mind.
Get into your car and drive a motor vehicle, a motorized vehicle.
15 minutes. Yes, exactly. 15 minutes exactly. Pass over the river and pass the same location where I was, and I actually can't remember actually getting home. And I'm thinking, was I speeding? Was I flipping the gears? Was I like this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what state. Like, I was in a bad state. Like, I wasn't aware of how bad I was, because I can't even remember. You know, like that's what I'm saying. It's like I can't remember why I went to the bridge in the first place. So that haunts me. I was so easily let go in that hospital, and I asked them to leave me stay. I pleaded them to stay. I had a woman that emailed me, that actually messaged me, that witnessed it. Right, that me and the HSC. Asking them, can I stay, please? I wanted to stay in the hospital. And the woman says to me, I felt so bad for her, she says, but I couldn't say anything, she says, because it's her job. And then when I read that message, I got the hairs on my neck. And I was, oh man, they broke me. The hospital broke me, and it haunts me to even that they let me go, because my daughter could have no father, my son could have no father, when I depended on them to save me, and they let me go. And oh man, just they just really. This is why I'm campaigning on the better health services, because
better mental health services.
Please let go. And another thing, like you have these people coming from war, like Ukraine, you people coming from Iraq, you people come from Africa, all these big places, right? They have lost people in war, and people that have died and whatever, and like bad lives. How is our mental health system that we have in place going to help these people? How is it going to help these people if they can't even help me?
I know, Brian. I mean, I've spent over a decade researching the impact on victims,
mind-boggling.
And our mental health service clearly isn't fit for purpose. It isn't fit for purpose for the people we have here, let alone people who are seeking sanctuary in this country from war. If we can't get it right for our own people who are indigenous to this country, how can we get it right for people who are coming in from Ukraine, as you say, who have come in with trauma?
Exactly.
You know,
how can you help them? How can you help someone, say, from a war?
You decided you were going to in some respects, maybe this whole situation, it might sound a strange thing to say, but in some respects, this whole situation has put you on a path
Yeah.
you would never have gone on, probably,
No.
and that is
No.
mental health advocacy.
Yes. Yes. And yes.
Do you know? And probably, but for this, you mightn't. This has given you the focus, I suppose, or the impetus to go in this direction.
Yes. Yes.
You spoke to the local newspaper about your what do you hope to gain from how do you hope to improve the mental health system, because you know many people have gone in off our river Shannon. I mean, Jago Purcell from Garryowen, he's a wonderful singer-songwriter. He's wrote a beautiful piece of music called The River Calling. And it is so true about this pull that the Shannon seems to have for people. We have more people who have committed suicide or taken their own lives, I should say, in this country, in this city. And you know, and I've interviewed many people who work in the mental health services and that. What do you think is needed, Brian, as somebody who needed help and didn't get it? What do you think?
We need a better system, right? And a better system as in a better sanctuary, a better safe haven than what we have out there. So something off the hospital, so we are not mixing with other patients, right? So something that is specially made for mental health. So when you come in, you are treated with humanity and you are cared for, and there's someone there to put a hand on your shoulder and tell you, look, you are safe, you are okay, come in. And they don't discharge you when you're still upset. And you have all these people, like say professionals that can talk to you, speak with you and sort out your problem and comfort you. All these kind of like there's so many things. It's just because I'm an interview now, I just can't get them out of my mind here. But professional training, more training, a dietary card, better ways for to get your mind focused, exercise, booklet, or better advice.
Because in most cases, depression comes from having nothing to do or feeling a sense of worthlessness, unemployment. Many different factors can cause depression in people, even people who seemingly have hugely successful lives on the surface.
Everyone gets depressed.
And it should be treated, in my view, as a medical condition rather than a mental condition.
Yes, exactly.
You know, we seem to think, oh, if somebody has cancer, I feel desperately sorry for them. But if somebody is mentally ill or suicidal, do we treat them with the same? I know many do. And I know there's many organizations who try their utmost and do great work, hugely great work. But as a society, do we look on mental illness in the same way as we'd look at somebody with diabetes or cancer? It is an illness, and
the total stigma around it is wrong.
Yeah,
stigma around it is wrong, and the way the health, even the health minister, like isn't even answering questions about it is wrong. People are crying out for answers. People want help. Everyone I meet or everyone I know, and anyone in this country, every person, there's 5 million in this country, and every one of them will agree that we need a better system, a better mental health system. And it'll be their own downfall in the next election, because it will come down to mental health as well, because there's COVID and there's war on their doorstep, and there's all this loss of life, people losing daughters, there's racism, traveller racism, there's everything. And people, there's all this
well, people get very comfortable in their own lives. And it's and for many people, it's very hard to step out of your own life and see things from the perspective of another person. And it's all, again, it's down to empathy. Some people, you can argue that empathy can be taught.
Yes.
I think you have to have a certain level of empathy inbuilt in you anyway.
Yeah.
Be able to understand, okay, I'm fine, but
Yeah.
this person isn't. Why isn't? And just to be there, a listening, a shoulder to cry
Yeah.
on, or I know
If
it's a metaphor, but a shoulder to cry on, or just a sounding board. So I think the important thing for people talking to somebody who's mentally ill or depressed is not necessarily giving them advice. They're not looking, you're people like you weren't looking for advice, just somebody to sit
Fact, yeah.
with, to
I could,
talk to
I
treat
couldn't,
you as a
I
human
could,
being.
I couldn't even get that. He spoke with me all right, but there was no like it wasn't right.
Yeah.
I felt, and I know what I felt was right because I was wanting this. I was wanting, I was wanting to stay alive. I was wanting
Yeah.
to speak with. I was wanting, I was out for that. That's
It
why I
was a
went
cry
there.
for help.
Well, yeah, I went there for that purpose, and I left tormented over him. And this is why I'm on I'm on this Zoom call here to you is because of that. There is a problem in the system, and I have witnessed it, and I can't stop talking about it. I think about it every day, and I must have
It's
emailed.
become your new obsession. It's
I
become
swear, I must have emailed about 50 people. I must have emailed about 4 radio stations in Dublin. I emailed the president, the Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar. I emailed about 20 politicians. This same email. I've been in contact with radio stations, the media, the Sun, the Star, the Sunday World, the Post paper, the Limerick Leader, everyone. I'm telling you, I have got out to it, and there's a lot of them that won't take a story because of the mental health. You see, they won't talk about it. You know what I mean? And that's wrong as well. That's wrong as well. You know what I mean? It's time to talk about it, and it's time we actually sort it and deal with it and listen to the people what the people want, and all these charities. We have a charity in town, Limerick City Treaty Suicide Prevention, and these people have no base. No, they have no base, right? But yet our council can, 40,000 or 70,000 euros to paint a bridge. They got quoted up by Roxborough there.
it's priorities, Brian.
You get what I'm saying?
Priorities are all wrong.
Quote a building for this team for 40 or 70.
Major priority should be suicide prevention.
A bridge over lives. Oh my God! And even
Brian, there was a man on. I can't think of his name. I was trying to check it there while for a second. He was from Cork. We should probably contact him. I'll get his name. He was on actually Tommy Tiernan one night, and he's coming on my show as well. And he was addicted to drugs, and it was a policeman that actually said to him one day, Garda, who said to him when he accidentally overdosed, you need help, because if you don't, he said, you're going to die. And he said that's what woke him up. That was the moment that woke him up from the reality. And he eventually found his way to college, to UCC, and he got a first-class degree in sociology, and I think it was sociology, and and he's now working with addiction counseling and everything, and he has his own podcast. And perhaps you should probably think of doing a podcast, maybe for a suicide awareness podcast, that you're somebody that's there for people that have gone through it. You should probably think of doing something like that, Brian. But I can give you his details, and perhaps because you're in the perfect position now to be able to help others and channel your focus. In some ways, I suppose, when you channel your focus away from yourself and to somebody else, it helps you as well.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. It's good to talk about.
And what you're doing is great, trying to raise awareness. But you're a good talker. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do a podcast where people can actually contact you if they feel vulnerable. And I will give you my phone number afterwards, and if there's ever a time that you feel you need, day or night, to talk to anybody,
Thanks
just
very much.
somebody to listen to you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
I'm here for you. I know you probably have loads of people, but I'll be here for you day or night.
Thanks very much. Thanks, I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
What do you hope that how do you think that this is going to help you both mentally and, I suppose, emotionally now? What do you hope to do from this
Well,
to make bad into a good?
Make bad into good. Well, firstly, I want to raise the awareness on it, right? So people know. And I also want people to realize that life isn't that bad. No, that like there's a good day after a bad day. And I had a bad day. And that bad day, I'll never get over that bad day. But the next day after that bad day, I felt good.
Yeah.
But that bad day was just it was a total fake day. It wasn't me. So just battle that bad day and get into this good day, because there is a brighter day. And just I want people to hang on and just tell them, like, help is coming. You know, like, hang in there. And I'm going to do everything I can to raise awareness. And I'm going to pester the Minister of Health. I'm going to email him.
So, yeah.
If I have to, I don't care. I'll have to call up to him and just knock on I won't knock on his door, but I'm gonna have to just annoy him, because he has to listen. Like, Jesus, like.
Well, you know, if you keep it up long enough, they have to listen, and if you make your voice public long enough, some politicians don't like bad pub. I know there's no bad thing as bad publicity, but there is bad publicity, certainly around mental health, Brian.
Yes.
And what do you think was what brought it on with you? It was just a moment. It was coming on for a couple of days with you.
Well, to be honest, right, when I came home from Australia 2 years ago, I started feeling depressed. Right, I came home. We had a child, and then I was there, and I was like, it was mornings there, I was waking up, and COVID hit, and it was all this, and then I was kind of weekends, like I was starting to feel it then, and then, but on the 7th of last month, I think it was a combination of it all that came together with COVID and everything else, and coming home and all that. So I just exploded, just like that, just exploded. So everything that I done wrong, say from the 7th and backwards, I'm doing the opposite now. So I'm up early in the morning, I'm eating good. Well, I'm trying to eat good as best as I can. I'm up walking, I have my head focused, and now I'm on this, like, I'm on this topic. I have like I have a calling card here, you know, that's what I feel. So I'm gonna.
I think you have a calling, Brian. Yes. I think it's an awful journey to that calling.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been an easy journey. But I think this is your vocation, is to fight for people like yourself.
Yeah.
You know, Brian, many survivors of genocide who have spoken to me said, especially Holocaust survivors, the thing that kept them going in the camps was faith. And not just faith in God, not just faith in God, but faith that things would get better. And you said there earlier, you know, it was only a moment, and I knew that things were going to be better tomorrow, and and things were better the following day for you than they were the previous day. So and that is the one thing. But when hope is gone from people, that's when terrible things can happen. You can't survive without hope. And your hope now should be that you can make a difference in even one person's life.
That's my objective.
You don't have to make a
no. But I want to go out. I want to go up. I want to go big. I want to save.
You want to save the world.
I want to be loud. I want to be loud. Yeah, because it's very it's serious, and down through the years, even people in my area have passed from suicide. Friends of friends have passed from suicide. You'll be hearing the helicopter and all these things, and I don't.
Terrible when you hear that.
But even my daughter and my son having to get older in this mental health system, if they ever, do you know what I'm saying, in the future, do you know, like change it for them. Like I want to change for them. I want to change for me, and I want to change for the people. And the charities will say that, and the whole country will agree that they want change in the system. And even if the Taoiseach or the Minister of Health announced in the morning, he said, look, guys, we hear your calls. We're going to fund more money into mental health. We're going to listen to all these organizations. That alone would be an antidepressant in itself. That would make people even happy as well. Just in announcing that.
You know, Brian, the book, the Talmud, it says to save one life, you save the whole world entire.
Yeah.
And that's all you need. If you can focus small and try and even if only one person listens to your message, you've done a great job. And, and one by one, more people will benefit. Thank you very much, Brian.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. And
is there anything else you'd like to say?
Just to the people to hang on, and mental health matters, and it should matter in this country, and it always should matter in this country. And it's time for our government to stand up and listen to the people.
And kindness should matter.
Kindness matters. Humanity matters. Decency matters. Everything matters. It's time to listen. That's all I have to say.
Brian Hayes, you've been spectacular.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Show, and you know, you have this is your calling.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Shindera Leshan Clar, that's the end of the show for today. Until the next time, Lacuna of Day. Wawalam Tugalir Chiacana Sonus Agus Gra. I wish you peace, happiness, and love. Agus Gadesh Slán.
Thank you. Thank you. Slán. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.